On the day my divorce was final, I'll never forget what my ex said to me. He looked me right in the eyes and he said, "You're going to regret this. You're going to get 6 months down the road and you're going to regret divorcing me." And you know what? He's right. I did have regrets, but probably not the kind of regrets he thought I would. And while I don't think it's healthy to dwell on them, I do think it's healthy to recognize them and learn from them so that we don't repeat them. So with that being said, here's what my regrets actually looked like. I regret not listening to my intuition. I regret gaslighting myself. I regret not giving myself enough credit.
It's all about me, me, me. I regret not making myself happier sooner. I have seen this so many times, guys, where women will divorce their husbands because they think that they can do better and because simply they feel like it and they think that their happiness is priority number one above their families or their marriage and things like this, which begs the question, why should men get married to you in the first place? But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, man, I came across this video clip over here on TikTok, which I just thought was absolutely hilarious. So this is a woman who divorces her husband, okay, and she says, you know, I don't regret it. And she goes on to, you know, talk about the regrets that she has, obviously not divorcing her husband, but not divorcing him soon enough. But then she turns into a TikTok dating coach, okay? The next clip, I kid you not, that I found from this woman is, why is dating so difficult? And so she's become this dating guru who, you know, she goes back out there into the dating market and she finds that life is difficult. Absolutely hilarious. So let's jump first into this clip. This is the one where she divorces her husband. Let's break it down and we will continue into the other ones. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Let's take a listen.
On the day my divorce was final, I'll never forget what my ex said to me. He looked me right in the eyes and he said, "You're going to regret this. You're going to get 6 months down the road and you're going to regret divorcing me." And you know what? He's right. I did have regrets, but probably not the kind of regrets he thought I would.
Okay, so this is going to be like the gotcha moment, right? Like, oh, I just regret not divorcing you sooner, or I regret marrying you in the first place. And this is the thing about so many modern women that just makes dudes not want to get married, is that they just change their feelings, you know, however they want, really. One day they're happy, the next day they're not. You know, you don't do the grocery shopping right, then she's pissed and apparently you're incompetent and you're a man-child. Right? And so what ends up happening is these women leave their marriages because they think that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. They return to dating, of course, and everybody laughs at them. I think it's very damn funny when women who are, you know, 35 plus try and return to the dating market after divorcing their husbands, and then they cry about it, and then they want to become like these dating or marriage gurus, which is absolutely hilarious to me. It's kind of just like hiring a homeless person to do your finances. These women are completely unsuccessful in dating. They're completely unsuccessful in marriage, and they use men like tools. That's really what it boils down to. Let's continue.
And while I don't think it's healthy to dwell on them, I do think it's healthy to recognize them and learn from them so that we don't repeat them. So with that being said, here's what my regrets actually looked like. I regret not listening to my intuition. I regret gaslighting myself. I regret not giving myself enough credit.
And there it is, me, me, me. I regret, you know, not giving into my emotions sooner. I regret not divorcing his ass quicker. I regret not prioritizing my happiness. You know, and this is all these women do throughout their entire lives, by the way, right? They pretend to set aside their happiness to have a family and have a marriage. They don't actually do this. The reason why they have the marriages in the first place is so that they can secure resources from the man. You guys ever find it real suspicious how all of a sudden, you know, women who are approaching 30, They finally end up in that long-term relationship. They get married fairly quickly, and then there's a divorce when she's in her early mid-30s. The reason why women do this is because it's an active decision to try and acquire resources from men. They have been prioritizing their happiness the whole damn time. They know they're on a timeline. They know what exactly is going on. So they spend their early 20s, mid 20s screwing around with dudes, having bedroom fun, hooking up with dudes off of applications. And then they go with the safe guy who they don't respect, who they're not happy with, who they're quote unquote settling for. And then they just end up divorcing him anyway.
I regret doing what I thought was best for everybody else but me. I regret not making my happiness and well-being more of a priority. And lastly, I regret not being strong enough to leave sooner.
I love the framing that modern women do, guys, is like, they're like, yeah, I should have put my happiness first. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about before she made this comment. Oh, I need to put my happiness first. I set aside my happiness, but now it's me time. And it's like, these people don't even understand what marriage is, right? Like, dudes will go into marriages, man. They will absolutely sacrifice their happiness to look after a woman, to look after their family, to do the whole till death do us part vows. Men will actually fulfill these in a lot more of a significant capacity than women will. Dudes will, what's the saying? There's a saying that goes something like, men will sacrifice their happiness for their family and women will sacrifice their family for their happiness. This is absolutely true, man. I've always said, but if you want a man to actually initiate the divorce, which by the way, women are statistically doing more than men by a good margin, mind you. If you want a man to divorce you, you actually have to usually do something very wrong. You have to cheat on the guy. You have to do some domestic issues, shall we say, things like this. Women, all it takes is they just have to be unhappy. That's it. They just have to feel unhappy in the relationship, i.e., like she's settling for you.
And though making the decision to get divorced was the hardest decision I've ever had to make, and it took me a long time to get there, I've never once regretted it.
Yeah, and so you know why a lot of the women don't regret it, by the way, is because they got what they wanted. Okay, they were able to steal from the guy and things like this. They were able to take his resources and so on. But I thought this clip, it gets even funnier, man. So after divorcing her husband, what's this woman's next career move? You might be asking yourself. Now, if you're a friend of the channel, you've been watching this for, this stuff for quite a while, you already know what the next move is, guys. The next move, of course, is to become a TikTok dating coach, a divorce coach, advice for women. And guys, I will actually extend a little bit of empathy towards women here, because this is the role models that women get, by the way. You're looking for some marriage advice. You're looking for perhaps you're a young woman, you're going out there, into the dating world. And this is the kind of crap that you're receiving as dating advice. Like, this is who young women have to look up to. A lot of women are over on TikTok, man. I think TikTok's a really stupid application. I think it's horrible. But a lot of women, and young women, they love this app, man. They watch this stuff religiously, and this is their savior right here. So take a listen to this. Why is dating so difficult?
Have you ever wondered why dating is so difficult?
No.
It's because intimate relationships are one of the most complex concepts we can put into practice. There are so many deeply programmed influences that affect the way we navigate them. You are taking two different people who have usually been through two very different backgrounds, formed very different relationship patterns and dynamics, different attachment styles, different ways of communicating, the conditioning that was brought on by emotional and psychological wounds, the difference in the way we handle conflicts.
Okay, this is a whole lot of yapping. Let me just cut to the chase here. Relationships are really not that complicated. Women just like to make them complicated. It's really not that difficult, man. Like, again, you can give a woman who has three basic qualities. She's pleasant to be around. She gives you peace, and she hasn't gained a whole lot of weight. and you can get a man, right? Like people like to pretend like relationships are these giant enigmas. They're so confusing. They've got to navigate all of the different life paths. It's like, man, it's really not that complicated. You make it complicated because you're a pain in the ass. I'll be honest, guys. Like, oftentimes these women, especially the ones who are looking for marriages and things like this, they have like this huge list of criteria that the man needs to meet. They make the whole thing incredibly complicated. They're looking for their Prince Charming who ticks all of the boxes. Dudes, you can line up like 5 women in front of them and they'll be like, yeah, I could make it work with 3. But like these ladies, quote unquote ladies, especially the divorced ones or the ones looking to go into marriage, they just have to make everything an issue. Everything becomes complicated. Everything becomes a problem, right? This is a whole lot of word salad.
That was brought on by emotional and psychological wounds, the difference in the way we handle conflicts, the ways that we express love and bonding, and the differences in the expectations we have for the relationship. And that's not even the full list, but it leaves so many areas where we can be a mismatch or be misaligned. I don't think most of us are aware at how these differences can collide and how faulty programming can trigger resistance and resentment.
What the hell are we even smoking, man? Like, I swear, these people, like, again, I want to make it clear, I actually don't care if people want to come on the internet and give dating advice. Fine, like, talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't really particularly care. I'll just watch the content that I'm interested in if I'm looking to watch some YouTube, or some whatever. If you want to come on here and give dating advice, that's fine. Go for it. But can we at least make it coherent? Can we put some effort into making it make any sense? Why is dating so difficult? This woman's like talking about programming. She's talking about love attachment styles, backgrounds, expectations. Like, it's really just modern day dating that is an absolute pain in the ass, right? I will say for men, modern day dating for the average guy is just completely not worth it. That's just straight up what it is. It's just not worth it.
We are biologically wired for connection. We're biologically wired for companionship. But until we have a better and more honest understanding of how our programming and conditioning affects our behaviors, dating and relationships will continue to be difficult.
What the heck? What is going on? Excuse me, guys. My headphones are running flat. What is this woman ranting about? I don't understand. Divorces her husband, right? Becomes a TikTok dating coach thing. Can't even make coherent sentences. Like, absolutely nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. Let's continue into the next one here. What is this? Is this like the gaslighting one? There's one where she talks. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure this woman's also a single mother now. So I don't know if I covered that. I think I saw it in one of her captions or something, but I believe she's also, I think it was in her bio. Yeah, she's also a single mother, which is hilarious in itself.
The other day I made a video where it talks about self-development and working on ourselves. And this lady said to me in the comments, we need to stop using the term working on ourselves. We're not all broken. Working on ourselves does not imply that we are broken. Just the same as going to the gym doesn't imply that we're overweight and out of shape. Or going to therapy doesn't imply that we're mentally unstable. Or saving money doesn't imply that we're broke. And in fact, I look at it as just the opposite. Having the self-reflection to want to improve the person you are is a sign of your healthy well-being.
What the hell? Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on with these women on TikTok? Love bombing. So now we're talking about love bombing. So we've returned to the dating market. So if you guys don't know what love bombing is a term that women use to describe for actions men do. These actions are basically just going out there, giving women things, giving them lots of attention, validation, and so on, but it misaligns with the progress that you guys have in the relationship, and so women consider it a manipulation strategy. For example, you meet up with a woman and very quickly, within the first couple of weeks, you tell her you love her, or you get her flowers, or you start buying her gifts and things like this. Women will consider this love bombing. Apparently, it's a manipulation strategy that men do. I find this hilarious. I personally think it's just a term that women use to describe men putting in effort but then not following through and giving them a relationship. So usually just being burned by Chad. The typical Chad got me flowers, but he didn't want a relationship. He love bombed me, which is also very funny considering, guys, a lot of women, right? If you give them things too early, it's considered love bombing. But if you don't give them things, then it's considered, you know, you're not doing the bare minimum. Very interesting. So let's jump in.
So what exactly is love bombing? Love bombing is a manipulative tactic used in the early stages of dating and relationships to lure in and secure a partner. And this can happen through grand gestures and over-the-top dates and lavish gifts and trips. But it can also be excessive fawning and monopolizing your time and prematurely making plans for the future and pushing for commitment. And it can feel romantic. It can sweep you off your feet. But keep in mind, this is a temporary phase. And this is not a genuine display of healthy behavior, because sadly, this will very likely segue into the second phase, which involves devaluation, emotional abuse, and control.
This is hilarious to me, man. Like, you have these women who, you know, you do kind things for them, you plan dates, you do what you're supposed to do, apparently, you know, push for commitment, right? Because the men are supposed to be chasing. And then apparently if we do these things, it's considered love bombing. So if you don't, you're not doing the bare minimum. But if you do and you're progressing too quickly, then you're love bombing her and you're trying to manipulate her. Just by the way, when men do kind things for women, or they do grand gestures or push for commitment, I think that's a bit of nonsense. I don't think these dudes are actually pushing for commitment. Dudes are not out here thinking about, you know, how to manipulate a woman. That's not what dudes think about. We aren't like, oh yeah,
psychological abuse.
We aren't like, oh yeah, how do I manipulate this woman? That's not what dudes are thinking about. Check this one out. We've got another one here. What is gaslighting? So again, remember guys, as we go through these, this was a married woman, divorces her man for her happiness. And now we're on the internet talking about things like gaslighting and whatever the hell the previous thing was. Love bombing, of course. Like, this crap just writes itself, really, doesn't it? Let's continue. Holy hell.
Gaslighting is a type of emotional and psychological abuse that is used to make someone question their reality or to reconstruct the events that happened and distort their perception. It's designed to make the victim question their own thoughts and instincts, and it's all done in the name of control. Because if the abuser can control the storyline and cover up any holes or any discoveries of deception within the relationship, then they can continue to have the upper hand and have power over you.
I think this woman is just essentially, guys, what she did was she was like, you know, I'm going to divorce my husband, but then I need to work on my finances. So I'm going to become a dating coach, and I'm just going to start reading crap that other women have said, you know, start posting chat GPT content, and, you know, become a dating advice guru for women that sells them a course. Hilarious. Let's continue to the next one here, man. What is this? Like, these are just endless. This is the same woman, by the way. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but this is I think it's just getting worse and worse, okay? So this one is, if you're single and you're in the dating world, how to attract the right partner. Now, before we get into this video, I haven't watched this one, but you already know, guys, whenever women start to talk about attracting a man, they are completely clueless. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Let's jump in. Let's take a listen. Holy hell.
If you're single and you're in the dating world and you're becoming really frustrated because you can't quite find what you're looking for, I'm going to tell you what to do. Make a list. Make a list of everything you would like to find in a partner. And maybe that...
Why is it, guys? Like, the first piece of advice that women give to each other when finding a partner, right? But how to attract the right partner. The first piece of advice that they give is get very clear on what you want. Get your expectations listed down of the things that you need from a man.
That list looks something like they're fit and attractive, they're emotionally stable, they're financially stable, they're intelligent, they take good care of themselves, right?
Right, so we want a dude who, you know, he's muscular, he's good looking, he makes a lot of money, and so on and so, and so on and so forth. I mean, absolutely classic. Again, here are all the things that I want out of a man. Okay, let's just see what she provides in return.
Write it all out, whatever it is, everything you're looking to find. Then here's what you do. You take that list and you review it every single day. And you work your ass off to become every single one of those things on that list yourself. Because who you become is who you attract. So if you want to attract better, you need to become better.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You want a guy who is got some muscles, right? And he looks particularly good. He's got great finances. So your strategy to attract a man is to go out there, hit the gym, and make money. Guys, I don't know how many times I can say it to these women, but men do not give a damn about your financial status. It's funny because women will return to the dating market, or they'll be like 40 years of age, 30 years of age, whatever. And then they think that because they're attracted to men who make resources, that their job to attract a dude is to go out here and become financially successful and career driven. You see, because they want a guy who's career driven. They want a guy who's ambitious, who's got money, right? Who hits the gym. And so then they go out here and do these things. But here's the problem. Men don't want masculine career women. You know, the type of woman who ascends the corporate ladder, who does really well at her particular job, makes 200K a year. Oftentimes, these women have very masculine qualities. And also, on top of that, the men don't care about how much money you make. But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Let me know what you think of this woman who decided to divorce her husband. Do you think that she's doing great out there in the dating market? I'm a little bit skeptical. Guys, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves. And I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.